Welcome to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Noethling. You are about to discover impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you, so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Be sure you visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now tune in, get ready, and enjoy the journey of emerging as a leader of exception in the 21st century.
Welcome, everyone, to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast. I'm your host, Vicki Noethling, coming to you from Roswell, Georgia. The goal of this podcast is to bring topics and guests that will empower you to become that confident leader and take your business and your life to the next level. Today, I am very excited to introduce to you Jennifer Lloyd, and let me tell you a little bit about Jennifer. Jennifer is a passionate advocate for women's empowerment, emphasizing the beauty of leadership, motherhood, and entrepreneurship. Her distinguished journey has included titles such as Mrs. Washington America 2005, the two-time Mrs. Korea World in 2021 and 2023, and Mrs. Korea Queen of the World in 2024. Jennifer's commitment to nurturing women's potential has earned her numerous awards. Her leadership extends to roles as co-owner of Lloyd Enterprises, Inc., a former school board director, and the director of SMICE Foundation, along with supporting multiple charitable initiatives. As a seasoned model since the age of 16, Jennifer has graced international runways and renowned publications. In 2021, she expanded her portfolio with Jennifer E. Lloyd Artistry, a photography business specializing high-end beauty and pageant portraits. Jennifer is a 5-time Global Beauty Awards recipient and board member. A devoted wife and mother to 6 children, Jennifer's unwavering faith anchors her life, inspiring hope and advocating for enduring strength and beauty. Today, we're going to talk about using life's hardships to propel your purpose. So please join me in welcoming my guest, Jennifer Lloyd. Whoa, Jennifer, what an impressive background you have. My goodness.
Thank you, Vicki, for having me on your podcast today. And listening back to what you just read is just astonishing to even myself. You know, you've heard of imposter syndrome. I'm like, who is this woman?
So we have a small thing in common. Whenever I was 30, I entered Mrs. Georgia pageant. I didn't win. I didn't even place, but it was such a wonderful experience because unlike modeling times where it was sort of catty a little bit, everyone that was in that contest here in Georgia was so wonderful, and ages 21 to I think the oldest person was like in her upper 40s, and so great experience. So very impressed with what you've done for sure.
Thank you. I do love hearing success stories with pageantry because, of course, in every industry, there are different sides to every single story.
Yeah.
But majority of the time, we all come together in pageantry because we're like-minded women. We want to get involved in our community and be surrounded with women who have similar interests. And for me, being a mother of 6 children, a business owner, I found that it was not only a fun escape to be a part of a pageant competition, but it gave me more access to working with global charities and also initiatives that support women in general.
Yeah. For me, I just wanted to show my 3-year-old, or my, I guess she was 3 at that time, that you could do things that were outside of your comfort zone completely, and just you should always give it a go.
Exactly. I think I've really tested my comfort level, and at my age, at being 46 years old and competing, like you said, against women who are a lot younger, it just really keeps you on your toes, but truly enables you to believe in your self-worth and also really showcase the multifaceted woman, right? I don't think that aging is bad. I think aging to me is just something so beautiful, and it's a gift that we're all given, and we're so lucky to experience in life.
Absolutely. So we always start with two really easy questions. The first is just tell everybody, where do you call home? Where do you live now?
Yeah, so I reside in Seattle, Washington. However, my family, we have several residences in Sun Valley as well. In a small little town close to Orofino, Idaho. We're interbranching outside of our normal family life. So I spent a lot of time on the Pacific Northwest.
Very nice. Beautiful area there.
Thank
So
you.
we gave all these accolades, and you touched on it a little bit, but what's your journey been like where, you've tackled the pageants but starting your own business and addressing the needs of charities and things like that. Talk about your journey and how it's really written the story of who you are.
Yeah, so I'm coming to you right now in my vehicle because my life is pretty busy. I am constantly juggling many things at many times. We run a multi-million-dollar corporation, my husband and I. And on top of that, I created my own side hustle, my side business, where I'm involved in photography and beauty artistry. Uh, I've been using a lot of my gifts and talents lately to impact my community. So I've partnered with Dress for Success. It's a global women's nonprofit organization that really tailors towards women and access to employment and financial independence. Because of my involvement, it causes me to travel quite a bit. I just returned from LA. I did a back to work moms event where we worked with moms who are getting back into the workforce. I was taking photos. We had a motivational Q&A session, as well as I've traveled to Boise recently. I did some interviews to promote back to work for moms in Idaho. So these are some of the things that I'm interested in. It has been really keeping me busy and motivated to continue to work with women. I believe that we all can either sit back and question and look at problems, or we can get ourselves right in the middle of it. And so I'm that woman who finds myself right in the middle of it, and I'm enjoying it. But it definitely is a commitment and a purpose.
So good. Yeah. So whenever I retired way back in 2018, I thought, oh, I spent a couple years just like traveling and enjoying my grandkids. And then I thought, you know what? There's so much that I could give back so that other women feel empowered and want to just trust in themselves and make their dreams come true. And I just think that age is just a thing, a number, but it should not stop you. So all those that are in their 60s like me, I encourage them to do it, as well as all of those in their 20s and 30s, giving them the confidence to really take on the different things that are out there for those opportunities.
I really appreciate you saying that, because one of the most important reasons behind my mission is because to help women of all ages, because I realize that we're all transitioning in this life. I spent a majority of my 20s just trying to figure out my place in society, because I was a mom with young kids. I have a college degree, but I had to become a stay-at-home mom because my kids needed me.
Yeah.
And I was still trying to find my place, even when I had more time. When I was freelancing, I jumped in and out of the corporate America. But I realized through all these years, I was constantly transitioning, and it doesn't stop as we grow older. We're always trying to find a community, or maybe we're forced to go back to work, or maybe we're retired and we're looking for something to do.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important for women to really reach out and support one another, because I believe when we do support a woman in her whole holistic self, not only do we improve the quality of her life, but we help our family, it improves the community, and it helps future generations.
It's so true. And I love that you talked about, that it wasn't an easy road. I mean, my mom had 7 kids, and I was the second oldest, so I know exactly what you're talking about. And she stayed at home. And so there are struggles, but you have to get past that. And I think sometimes life is so noisy and busy that we forget that our purpose can change, but we need to be aware. We need to take time of not only self-care, but self-reflection on what is our purpose. It is the skills that we get as being a stay-at-home mom or in and out of corporate and all those things are gifts for us to be able to use and to develop and continue to grow. And I think sometimes we forget that and we get sort of stuck where we are.
Right. I often hear that, women who are so accomplished, who have education, wealth, right, have many children, they still deal with a level of lack of confidence, and it hits all of us at different times. It doesn't matter what your background is. It's so easy to lose your sense of self, and I think it's really important for all of us, who have walked that path, to really be transparent and open and talk about it, because that vulnerability is going to encourage another woman and really allow her to just feel comfortable. Working with a group of women in LA this past week really just touched my heart, because I'm working with these women who are accomplished and they have careers, or some of them are looking to get back into the industry and find a job. But I'm seeing that, like, we all are this come from the same place. We're all human. We're all nervous. We don't want to
Yes.
say the wrong thing. We're scared to be our true selves, because will they really like me if I'm really truly who I am? We all deal with it. So I realized that it was so impactful to be just really authentic and real, and showing just naturally like who you are, and that seems to be very helpful for women.
Yeah. I always tell people that I didn't go to school to college until I was in my 40s. And it was one of those things, oh, well, if you want to get anywhere in this corporate world, you've got to go to college. So I went online to college for 4 years while I was traveling for business. And then I turned 50 when I graduated, and I no longer cared about any ceiling to crush or anything. It was like the 4 years of me being in college told me, oh my gosh, you do know something. You do understand things. You
Right.
you have a worth. And so when I stopped caring about what other people did or said, that's when my life changed for the good. And I just always hope that people that I work with understand that, you know, just live your life for what's going on in the present. Don't worry about the past or the future. But if you give all your all to the present, then you start to really live your purpose.
Right, right. I love that you said that, because I think we try to hide behind identity and labels, right? Thinking that
Hmm.
that's going to make people respect us, or that we have some type of authority, but truly we're given that authority. That God, when he designed you, he's given you a purpose, he's given you authority to use your voice. You don't have to ask permission. You are given that already.
Yeah. And when you talk about asking permission too, At, at what point in your life did you say it's okay to say no? That's a hard word for us to say.
I still struggle, to be honest with you, Vicki. I still struggle sometimes, because I was taught from a very early age that if I don't people please, that I'm actually discrediting my merit, or that I'm dishonoring someone, my family, or I'm not using my fullest potential. But I've learned that, especially in this busy season of my life, that prioritization is key to how I can stay organized and how I can commit, and be executing at an excellent level. I think when we overcommit and we say yes to everything, that's when um, it feels like everything is coming at you. I've learned to say no. I'm still learning. I'm not perfect, but I'm still learning.
So, for those listening to you, how do you tell them that it's not too late? We've talked about this a little bit, but I think there are people that do think, oh, well, you know, uh, this is for somebody at a different age, a young age. I'm past that. And, I'm here as an example. 66, no, but what do you tell people?
Yeah, I love this question because oftentimes people will look at me and say, wow, she's tall, she's got long hair, she's modeled, she's done this, she's done that. But if I can explain to you that it's never been that easy, I don't look at myself as a victim. I looked at my situation as a victor, because growing up as a child, I literally grew up in a cement box, and we had no running water. We had no indoor bathroom. My mom made a makeshift toilet out of a trash can so that the kids didn't have to go out in the middle of the night and be cold. And I just remember seeing how mentally ill my mom was at times, because in Korea it's so cold. I would watch her hand wash the clothes in the freezing weather and struggle because we just didn't have enough money. I mean, I grew up on government subsidies, so we really relied on government foods to get us, through. And when I was at the age of 6, my mom started to black market American goods so that she could make side money. And, looking back as a child, I knew I was different. I knew that my self-esteem wasn't good because I didn't like who I was, and I wanted it to be different. And my circumstances were tough, but having gone through all of that, it makes you realize that, there are different seasons in life, and that circumstance doesn't define your future. And I'm a big person of faith, and I grew up knowing Jesus Christ. And I remember just pouring my heart into believing that I can be somebody someday, and it's through the grace of God, and also having discipline, trying to do my best with education and working really hard, that I've come to a place now where I feel really good. But my point is that, life is long, and you have every opportunity to make a change. It's never too late to start something new. I've had dreams when I was a child to walk a runway and to be a business owner, and I'm living that. I'm in my 40s. And I did read somewhere that, like, Martha Stewart didn't start her business till her late 40s, right? So don't give up on your hope. Don't give up on your dream. And literally, if there's something that you want to do that's different, you got to just have a step of courage, not necessarily confidence, because I think confidence comes after the action. So just having courage to just put yourself out there and put your dreams first.
That is so true. I teach all the time that the first step towards confidence is being courageous, being able to
Mm-hmm.
say yes to things that scare you out of your mind.
Yes. Yes. And it's amazing how when you're faced with fear, it puts you in positions where you're meeting new people, right? You're
Yeah.
you're different because you're in a different situation. And
Yeah.
it's through those actionable risks that makes you really grow.
So you talked about your upbringing and things, and even, I know when I did some modeling when I was younger, there was even the people that, in modeling school and out there that were telling you, well, your nose wrong, your eyes are wrong, your hair's wrong, and everybody is like so negative. And I had to learn to quiet those voices. And so how do you, even today, in what you
Mhm.
do, there's always that self-doubt, that we talked about earlier. So how do you quiet the negative? What tools do you have in your toolbox that help you be maintain that positive mindset that you want your children to see, that the women that you touch and empower to see?
Well, a practice that I put into every day of my life is, one, I do something for myself spiritually every single day. So
Yes.
I'm a person of faith. So whether that's meditation or saying a prayer, that's really important for me to set the intention for the day. I'm also very physically active. So I know that I have goals that require me to be physically fit. So I will put into practice something physical every day and then something mentally. I think it's so important to fill your mind with goodness, right? So that you're prepared and that you're educated and that you're ready to go at whatever you're doing. And when I work with a woman, for instance, and she's lacking some type of confidence, I try my best to remind her of like how incredible and special she is. Again, age is so beautiful. I think we all, for instance, in my business, we all look at a photo and we can microanalyze it because I can zoom in,
Yes.
zoom out, I can look at the light, I can look at the shadows. But truly, when you look at a person, you look at their spirit, their energy, right? The light in their eyes. People are not going to be zooming in on you and pointing out like a wrinkle or, that you've gained weight, or people are going to look at your spirit, your energy, right? And your just your aura. So I think it's so important to remember that your self-worth is based on, how you feel about yourself. And if you love yourself, people will feel that.
For sure. So why is it important that you give back?
I don't think there's really truly enough therapy, Vicki.
I know.
My my trauma that I have gone through really does affect me. Seems like it comes up more and more as I um, am in touch with more women. I'm seeing things that either I lacked or being situations that remind me of what I've gone through. And to me, it gives me a great purpose and fulfillment to see that other women feel not only empowered, but feel beautiful and seen. In my business in the beauty world, I know how to use the techniques and light tricks to really bring out the best in a woman in a photo, whether that's hair, makeup, in studio, in person. Um, and I know that like when I'm able to impact a woman, not only can I like change the way she feels about herself, but she has instant confidence. And it is my hope that she feels that way all the time, or that when she looks at her photo, for instance, she's reminded of like her greatness, and there is a stat out there that talks about, your first impression. Someone will look at your photo and judge you within 6 minutes, or excuse me, 6 seconds. And from that photo, they can tell, number one, is she capable? Number two, is she likable? Is she friendly? And when I work with women, I really focus on showcasing that aspect so that when a recruiter's looking at her photo, or if she's in business and she has an about me page, or she's on LinkedIn, that when they look at that photo, they'll say, you know what, I want to get to know this one.
Yeah.
I can tell that she is a nice person. I could see that her resume is real. She looks like she's trustworthy, and number one, she looks capable. So that has been my goal and my purpose, especially with my business, be able to touch as many women as I can with my work so that they feel more empowered.
Fantastic. So when we talk about propelling our purpose, should a woman ever stop trying to, I guess, grow, develop her mind, her heart? You talked about every day that you do prayer and meditation, but like for me, I have this practice of reading 10 pages of a book every day, or listening to Audible of 10 pages. I think we can never stop learning. I think that as women, we have that superpower. A lot of times, like for my husband, when I first met him, he was a school teacher, and he hardly ever read until we had kids, and he had to sit by the pool with him. And it was like amazing to me. It's like, what? You don't read? And but I think, that's part of the self-care that I think that we need to do as women, that we need to enrich our minds constantly so that we grow as an individual. And really, I think that's just part of the beauty of what we bring to the table.
You're absolutely right. I get this question a lot about community, like how do you find your community or how do you find your tribe? And it's not always about attending a networking event and being a woman of business. If you want to get out and surround yourself with positivity and women who are doing things in the community, I would highly suggest volunteering. I
Yeah.
volunteered quite a bit, especially through my transitions between corporate America and being a stay-at-home mom, between freelancing and whatnot. I volunteered at food banks. I gave my time to serve as an elected official. I served for a nonprofit. One in particular, score.org, is a nonprofit that is funded by the Small Business Administration. They help a lot of businesses, and I learned a lot during that process, met a lot of key players in the community. So I would highly suggest that if you not only want to get involved in the community, but surround yourself with people who could feed your mind and give you access, volunteer. There's so many opportunities out there to
Yeah.
volunteer.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think that in the leadership that I teach, teach leading with the heart, the head, and the hands. And the hands portion is that servant leadership. And you, to me, I always get so much more than I give. But to me, it's just one of the most wonderful things that we get the opportunity to do, is to be able to help others in our volunteering.
You're right. You're right. Also, if you want to connect with someone who might be a leader in your industry, someone who's a thought leader, I highly recommend just reaching out to that person and letting them know how much you admire them.
Yeah.
And if there's any opportunities for future collaboration where you could give your time and your talents to help support their marketing initiatives or whatever that is, just let them know that you'll be there to support them. You'll be amazed that people are generally open to mentoring and working with you if you come with that attitude of a servant's heart. And let me remind you that you may not get paid for it, but it's time well spent, because not only are you developing a relationship, but you're getting free mentorship as well.
Yeah. I always looked at the volunteering when I was hiring people. I always looked at what the volunteer efforts are, because I knew if you were willing to do that for free, just think what you would do if I gave you a paycheck.
Right, exactly. Right.
Well, it's been so great chatting with you today. You shared so many wonderful pieces of your life and advice for folks. And I'm sure that the audiences out there are going to want to get to know you a little bit more. So we're going to share your contact information on a slide. As always, we have that information available for those that are just listening. If you go to my YouTube channel, Vicki Noethling, so please subscribe, as well as my findyourleadershipconfidence.com in the show notes. So the information for Jennifer is, her website is mrsjenniferlloyd.com. That's mrsjenniferlloyd.com. On Facebook, you can go to queenly.queen.100, and Instagram is Jennifer E. Lloyd. I'm going to turn it over to Jennifer to talk to you about what you might find when you go to her website, as well as where she spends the most time on social media that you can connect and DM her. So Jennifer, it's all yours.
Well, thank you, Vicki, for sharing all my contact information. On my website, not only will you find my portfolio, but you'll find some press media information as well, and how to be in contact with me. You can also find me on LinkedIn. I'm on there as well. I'd love to hear from your viewers if they have any questions or if they have any feedback as well.
It's fantastic. Well, Jennifer, I just love chatting with you. It's been just a real pleasure. I'm so glad you could stop on your busy schedule to have this time with us and have this great conversation. I do hope that everybody in the audience does take heed and start thinking about, what your life purpose is. And as she says, you can use those hardships to really propel your purpose. So if you're ready to make a change in your life, someday is today. So stop putting it off and start doing something now. Thank you so much for being a great guest.
Thank you, Vicki.
As always, I remind everyone that life is a journey, and it's up to you to enjoy the ride. This is Vicki Noethling, signing off.
Thank you for tuning into the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Noethling, where we share impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Remember to visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast.